It's me, your papa. We can make big contract like Tiger Woods and his daddy.
I can't believe this. What's going on with Dame, bro?
What happened?
Bro, like
that L he took
balls every fucking year, especially in the playoffs, and then they help him. No way, no how.
No way.
Well, see, I mean, honestly, no. I mean, I can't completely say that, bro. That game last night wasn't as bad at first, right? Because you saw McCollum was balling out a little bit. Melo was making a guest appearance, and obviously Dame was still doing his thing. But it's like, yo, they're missing pieces that they need to make it a whole team. I can't fully say and come out and be like, yo, the team didn't show up. I think there were spots that they needed support that they just didn't have that from their bench, and because of that, they're never going to win a full championship. And I honestly, I want Melo to win one. I want Dame to win one more, but I also want Melo because he is literally a legend. You know what I'm saying? From his time in the Nuggets to the Knicks, now over in Portland. I want Melo to have one.
I want Chris Paul to have one.
I think this might be.
I think this might be his year. Bro, he's gonna be his year.
Yeah.
Steve, you've been talking about Chris Paul getting one since the beginning of before even postseason, and I honestly said I didn't want them to win. I think they might win, but I'm literally not going to verbally say that the Suns are going to make it to the finals because I already told you that they weren't going to make it. So, at this point, I'm full into the Mavs. I'm locked in on the Mavs. Yeah, Luka Doncic is a freaking head case.
That boy's a problem.
He's a fucking madman. He was like, dude, the reason why the Clippers are losing because Luka's in their head the entire time. He's like, yo, I got rent-free space in your heads, boy. Like, watch out.
He got Rondo.
You know what? You're bringing up some good points there. So,
shit,
you know what? Because we're on. We're back. We're back with the trenches. We are in. We are in. Yeah, what's going on, guys?
Call me with my pants
just
down.
That, bro. Just peep that.
Oh yeah, no, give you guys a little surprise. Try to get some candid conversation. But you know what? Hey, everybody, welcome back. We're back with the trenches. We're kicking it off talking a little basketball right off the gate. We got a lot to talk about. Obviously, Damian Lillard not showing up. LeBron, first round exit in the playoffs.
First round, outie.
Luka Doncic, he's a bad man. And you know what? We also got to talk about not just Luka Doncic being a bad man, but actually, let's start with this.
Talk about Luka.
Let's start with this.
Come on, man. I'm locked in on Luka, bro.
Before we get started on Luka in the Mavs, right? Because I think I'm just as on board with Luka as you guys. Can we talk for a second how this is going on year 3 now with Paul George and Kawhi together into this supposed super team that was going to be down with the Clippers? Yeah, I'm not joking. For me, when I found out that team was getting formed, it wasn't a matter of if, it was just when. When will they win? Like the Miami Heat situation. Right. At this point now, and I know you're in the West, and I know the West is tough, but at this point, can we look at this and say that this last couple of years, this new Clippers era, has been one of the biggest disappointments in recent NBA history?
Ever since they got rid of Doc Rivers.
Bro,
but even with Doc Rivers though, they don't win with them. And I agree. Doc Rivers.
I feel like Doc Rivers definitely would have brought their program to a different level. But remember Lob City, remember all that? They had all the hype, the flash, all that, and they still didn't do anything. That was pre-LeBron, obviously. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to give a hot take, right? This is my hot take, and a lot of people are going to disagree with me. Trust me, I've had a lot of people disagree with me on this already. But Paul George, overrated. I think Paul George, from my own opinion, I feel like Paul George hasn't been Paul George since he was on the Pacers.
I completely agree.
Since he was on the Pacers with George Hill, Hibbert, and that was a super squad right there when the Indiana Pacers were balling out. Then he went to
You think it was a leg injury?
It might be. But it can't just be that, because you know what I'm saying? Some great players will be able to come back then and still ball out, but there's just something missing from Paul George and his game that, cool, he can drop a 30-point game here and there. Cool, he can be able to ball out, but he's the most inconsistent, star player of a team that is just not there to step up. And when he's OKC, wasn't that great. What happened? He didn't show up for the playoffs last year at all. Not a single game at all. I get it. It was COVID basketball, whatever. I don't care. Even if you're playing basketball as for fun, you're dropping 20 points if you're supposed to be the star player of the team, right? Yeah. One of the star players at least. Right. And then this dude drops nothing. They give him over $100 million. $100 million.
Do it again, bro.
He's just like, man, I don't know if it can be good. I know I didn't perform last year, and their whole team was like, you know what? Here's more money. Maybe you'll play better now. It's like, dude, I don't get it, but that's my take. But I just don't see him being that anymore.
Just point blank. I'm just sick of them, bro.
Big time.
For so many years, no, like for real, so many years we've heard X, Y, and Z. They're gonna do this. They're supposed to do this. Yep. They will do this. They have never came through. Not once.
And this isn't like a team like this isn't like a Bucks and Giannis situation where I can look and be like they didn't put the horses around them. Like the Clippers have been built to win. And
been built to win.
And they just cannot get it done. Like it's not like they're a piece away. It's like they got all the pieces.
They're the definition of a team that fumbles the bag every single time.
Yeah,
because they just dish out so much money to all these players. They're like, yo, they will do this. They're gonna come together, but they don't. You know what I'm saying? Does Kawhi Leonard and Paul George seem like they gel to you?
I mean, they might be boys, but not like best boys.
No. I'm just talking about on the court. When you watch them. The few times that I've watched them, I'm looking, I'm like, all right, they're cool. They have a little flashes, but they're never really gelling.
It more so, you're right.
You know what I mean?
It looks to me like it's just two superstars playing on the same team. It's not like that type of like I know where you are, where you're gonna be before you even there.
And I hate to even go to the East because they just got our boys up out of there. But it's not like the next situation where you got superstars all around, and they know exactly which one of those are like capable of. Who's gonna do what?
For sure.
What's gonna happen and when it's gonna happen?
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then like I've never seen that cohesiveness from either of those guys when they're on the team. It just looks very forced, uncomfortable. Like it's just a hard situation to deal with. Because on the other side of it, y'all share the same stadium with the LA Lakers. And that's just more onto it themselves. It's like, well, we have to hear them or pass by them. You know what I'm saying? Hearing all this sneaky stuff. So that I feel like that trickles in because Paul George, I think definitely is one of those cats that hears stuff and takes it to heart. Obviously not like KD does because he doesn't put out those numbers, but he hears that and he just takes it to heart and he just folds, bro.
I think with 2 points. One, when it comes to Kawhi, I think everyone just assumed because he was one and done with the Raptors and he won a championship that okay, now he's a freaking godsend. Like he's going to be like he's the next LeBron, like maybe not the next LeBron, but like the next guy who can be able to go anywhere and win type thing. Right. And so he comes to the Clippers, they're doing this, and they have Paul George, but I feel like they're putting too much power into the wrong hands instead of spreading it out a little bit more equally. And like you're saying, they're playing like a couple superstars that are on the team, but not necessarily as a team of superstars type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so it's weird, and it's weird, and I don't see it being that successful unless there's like more of like a culture change or a mentality change. Sure. I think it's more of a mentality thing than anything. Because I'm not saying they're not athletic enough. Like we said, they have the pieces, they have the skills. Yeah. And I think it is either a cultural thing within the facility or it's a mentality thing. And they are just, they don't have the right leadership or they just don't have someone being able to push them in the right direction type thing.
You know what's kind of, it's kind of funny because I was just thinking about it in my head, right? Right. When you look at it, a lot of people say like Danny Ainge and those Celtics created like super teams, right? Like when, he went out and got Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen, to pair with Paul Pierce. And obviously we went on a tear. We won that year. If you think about it, there has not been, other than that Celtics team and a LeBron-led team, there has not been a successful super team to go on and win the championship in the NBA. Like, if you think about that, like, if anybody else who's tried to form a super team, unless it's been LeBron's super team or that original Celtics team, they haven't won a championship, right?
Golden State.
We're not going to really count the Golden State.
But you
know what I'm saying? Because they
built,
had that.
Yeah, they built through the draft. You're
thinking about Kevin.
Built organically.
I mean, you're thinking about the Kevin one, but that's if you really think about it.
Before him.
Because I was thinking too, and I was like, let me go back.
Like, let me catch this dude on camera. Let me catch this dude on camera.
If you think about it, though.
They did drive it. They brought KD. KD put them over the ledge.
The year before they got KD, they had the best. They broke the best record in NBA history, right? And their starting lineup was all homegrown. Steph Curry, homegrown. Klay Thompson, homegrown. Draymond Green, homegrown. What was his name? Barnes. Harrison Barnes, homegrown. Their center at the time,
Yo, yeah. What was
I forget
was
who
it Andrew Bogut?
Andrew Bogut. Andrew Bogut was there for a bit.
They had Iggy too. They had Iggy.
See, but Iggy was like.
He was a veteran. He's a veteran.
But he was a veteran.
Right, he's a veteran.
But primarily,
it was homegrown job. I'm saying when you go out and assemble a super team, it hasn't worked out for anybody other than LeBron and the Celtics. And I think that's because of what you just said. It's a mentality thing. Like with those Celtics, KG, Paul Pierce, Doc Rivers, a young Rondo. That's one of that. Perkins, that might be one of the hardest, mentally tough group of men to ever assemble in any team.
Besides
the
Pistons.
The new age Pat Boy Pinson with Chauncey Billups, Tayshaun Prince, Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace, and Rick Hamilton. That was a rip. He was definitely different. The only one I could possibly think of is the one team that would destroy. If we won in 2008, but every other time we made it back, we lost to the freaking Kobe, Pau Gasol, Derek Fisher. Absolutely just madmen.
Don't forget Ron Artest.
No. Meta World Peace.
Meta World.
Yo, put some respect on his name, bro. Put some respect on his name, all right? Meta World Peace.
All that.
It's like that, right? So I mean, that's you know what I'm saying. That's another that's more of like an AD LeBron big team. But it's not really like a triple threat. You know what I'm saying? So I get what you're saying from a triple threat standpoint. There are that's a super teams to be on a super team. You know what I'm saying? It was a super team, but I'm at the same time I'm not calling the Lakers now a super team. Granted they have LeBron, AD as their pinnacles. They're their towers. I would say the Nets are more super team with Harden, KD, and Kyrie. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about straight from a triple threat super team type standpoint. You know what I'm saying?
But this is a year. I really don't know about what's going to go on in the East, but the West, I see a clear path for the Mavericks, boy.
The Mavericks or the Suns. The only thing
I really see it from the Mavericks, and you know why, bro.
But
Luka is going in on everybody.
He's unstoppable. He's actually unstoppable.
He is so nice,
and that's
bro.
What we were
He's so nice.
Like this man is playing like he's really in a video game. Like he's really playing around with these boys. These men, like he's in the video game.
He's like 20, 21 years old.
Do you see what I'm saying?
It's not.
That's why I said not these boys, these men. He's fucking embarrassing them.
It's kind of like this dude. It's kind of scary what like he's gonna do.
And I love it. If he's gonna be the face of the league, let him be it. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Let a foreign come over it, take this shit up, be like, here we go.
I love it.
The only thing I could do to rebuttal literally my own statement that is for the Suns. I hate that I'm even.
We gotta go in there.
I hate how I like to go both sides. I play devil's advocate more times than not. Just that type of guy I am.
I don't think these people know that.
Yeah, they know that. I don't think they know that by now. But basically, the Suns, I believe they have probably one of the most well-rounded teams as of right now, whether it be Crowder, whether it be Booker as a scorer, where they have leadership from CP3. I think, honestly, whether it be from a starting standpoint versus their bench, I think head-to-head with the Mavericks, the Suns probably have the most well-balanced team. I think the Mavs have a couple more threats, but when it comes from the long game, I think there's a chance that the Suns might be able to pull it through. I want the Mavs to pull it through, but it's just from right now how it's looking like from the West.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Because I'm looking at the Suns roster right now, and like the two names that come out to me, one, Frank Kaminsky. Remember?
Yeah, Frank Kaminsky, bro. I loved watching him in college tournament. Yo, that guy was an easy bucket.
He put up some good numbers last night. Got some, moderate 4 assists, 3 rebounds, 2 points, like doing his job off the bench.
Yeah.
Then we got this dude. I don't know if you guys know about him, Cameron Payne.
Oh yeah.
Yo, Payne is so nice. You feel me? Payne is he played so well last night.
Auburn, I believe.
It was Auburn. Yeah.
I remember watching this dude, bro. This man has come to his own in the NBA as a bench player. Yep. You know what I'm saying?
He is great off the bench.
And I love it for him. But now let's look at the starters. DeAndre Ayton.
Yep. Number 1 overall pick.
Miles Bridges.
First round pick.
Yep.
Crowder. We all
Crowder. Oh my God. Do you see the beginning of the game last night in the first quarter? Would he hit 3 or 4 threes in a row?
Just like it was nothing.
He was like, bam, bro. He went off
like it was
last
water.
night.
He's like, this is it.
It was,
and I know this is it. And
it was
just
insane.
Going. And then we can't forget about Devin. Man went 47.
Bro, he's easy
points,
buckets. He's easy buckets.
11 rebounds, double like it was nothing on LeBron's first exit in the first round,
14-1 to the Suns. He's 14-1 the playoffs. First round.
Crazy to me. Because now that's how I know we're in a new era.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
LeBron said I got that
Lakers
team
were hurt.
on my shoulders, bro. He was looking like them Jack shoulders. I don't know if y'all seen the new Mortal Kombat. Them motherfuckers got them little scrawny, like, bro. He ain't putting nobody on his shoulders. You can't do that.
Finish him.
Yeah. And Devin Booker finished that motherfucking ass. Like, you can't expect all that to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, your whole team's gonna come up behind you. There's no AD too. AD as well. So it's like, bro, did you really think like this was really gonna work out for you? Where you have this man that's on a rampage and your best friend or one of your closest friends trying to get you out of there too because he's trying to see the promised land himself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
They have, I feel, when it comes to the Sun, they have all the right pieces. They're like the exact opposite of the Clippers. They have all the right pieces that can make it, because it's like Booker, right? He's an easy bucket. He's easy bucket. Like how many teams that he has where he has between 30 to 40 something points, right? Where he just balls out. But the thing about it is, right? Cool, you might have that big scorer, but it's all about who's finishing the game. And freaking CP3, if you watched him at the end of the game last night, he freaking closed that out. He was making plays. I remember, I don't know if you saw this, those slow motion replay. He's like, ask about me. Ask about me. He literally says that. I'm like, yo, you are a madman, and this is the reason why you're still playing in the game. This is why you're an experienced vet, and you're literally the leader of every team that you've ever played on. Think about that.
Yeah, 12 assists last night.
Bro, he balled out.
You know what I'm saying? Straight
up
12 assists last night.
He finished the game while the rest of the boys took care of it from the beginning. It was, bro, honestly, it was a great showing by them. Terrible showing by the Lakers, but you know, and that just gives them more confidence to go in. And I think I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that it was the Suns coach's first playoff series win too. It's the first time he's ever, so it's huge.
And that brings on to that mentality that we were just talking about. You feel what I'm saying? We got to double back and hit that again. Like, that's going to give all the people on your bench, the people who didn't play, but most importantly, your starters, your coaches who put in all that time, effort, and work, they can be like, yo, we just got them out of there. We just got the defending world champs out of our spot. In their spot.
Yep.
They did that in LA.
At LA.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Like, that's monumental, and that's a fucking head game in itself. Because, like, that's all we fucking talk about here, for real. Like,
that's the test. That
was
the
what
test.
I'm saying?
That's what they
ultimate
needed.
test, and they got it the first round. Granted, the Lakers really weren't supposed to be there, but they just said, we just need to make the playoffs.
Lakers were very
how the end of the season was going. But to close them out at home, with knowing that they did all that shit, you had a veteran who didn't really put up any points. He only had 8 points last night. Wasn't shooting shit from field goal range. I think 4 for 12. But you have a man like D Book who's like, yo, this has been a lifetime goal of mine. That's that mentality that I was saying.
Yep.
He had this vision ever since he was in college.
You could tell.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, he hasn't been intimidated this whole series.
Not at all. And why should he?
Not at all.
Game one.
He's very confident in his role.
Yeah.
His role is, I'm the fucking star. You know what I'm saying? Like, he very much should be. And CP3 knows that. He said, I already know what I've done and what I'm capable of. And he exhibited it last night with the 12 assists.
Yep.
Because that's all he had to do. But when you have another young man that's trying to come up and lead your whole team to the promised land, and you haven't been there once, and your partners have been bouncing you out year after year after year, at one point you could be like, man, fuck this. I'm going. Even if I'm not the man to do it, I'm going to pass it along because it's that unselfish mentality for the greater good. You know what I mean?
Just what you just said right there. I was literally about to say something. This really what dictates on what's a good team versus a great team, even when you have all the assets. The word unselfish, right? There's not a person on the team who's going to be like, you know what? This is my thing. I'm going to take it over. It's like, yo, what is the best way to make sure the team wins? All right, Devin Booker's balling out. We'll look at him. All right, Jay Crowder's going off a bench from the first freaking quarter. We're going to like sure that Jay Crowder gets that love. You know what I'm saying?
And also, real quick, Jay Crowder's been in the fire. He's been in the field. With you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
all of us. But keep going. I just want to let you know that was a veteran like leadership too, even though he knows he's not the man.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
100%. And that's where it comes in from, the difference between the superstar and the leader, right? Because we got a lot of teams where people believe that just because you're the captain, just because you're the leader, that means you have to be the superstar. And that's not always the case. And I mean, granted, but LeBron is LeBron. But when it comes down to it, a true leader knows when to hold them and knows when to fold them. You know what I'm saying? And so when it's time to give it to who needs to be getting it, and they're gonna make sure they're leading and make sure the whole team's working as a unit. And that's why I've always loved the Spurs. You know what I'm saying? When they had Tim Duncan, Ginobili, Tony Parker, that whole squad, because they were a very unselfish team. I've never seen a team pass a ball more in my entire life. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's why they were so successful with Popovich, with Tim Duncan, those guys. Because unselfish teams win championships. I don't defense, offense, unselfish teams win championships.
That was another team that was built up from the bottom. Actually, we almost forgot to talk about it. Yeah. That's another one.
Spurs, man.
But hey, Danny Ainge out.
Honestly,
Brad Stevens in. Let's get into it. I know you want to talk about this.
Here's something that I gotta know. Yeah. To accurately assess the situation, because I saw something that was out on like Facebook and like it's going around the internet.
A little quote.
It's a quote.
I've seen it.
I don't. Basically, it's essentially Danny Ainge saying that he needed to step down.
Yep. Tell him why.
He basically said Kyrie. He said he, meaning Kyrie, came to, he disrespected us. He came to our court and disrespected us, and our players did not care.
Didn't care.
And then he said, I don't know if I can connect with this generation of players anymore. So I guess my first thing is, does anyone know, is that a real quote, or is that like
that's real? That's real.
That's real.
Oh,
a lot of people have talked about it, and it's like been like a whole thing. I don't think it's the sole reason why he quit. Obviously, who gives up a rule like that? Who gives up a rule like that just because? So
look here. I guess here my thing is, if it's a real quote, right? If it's a real quote, then it's one of those old school motivation tactics, because you don't just give up your position as GM of the Boston Celtics. Like, this was a move, I guarantee you, this was a move that was set in place a while ago. And it was probably Danny saying, look, I'm getting ready to head out. Brad, I think you'd be from what I've seen, you'd be a good front office person.
Right.
Like, maybe like, you clearly got the X's and O's down, but maybe we could find someone who's a better like motivator and like, like the player manager,
Right.
And that was probably a move that was put in place for a while. What happened with Kyrie, I guarantee, like, while that might have aggravated Danny Ainge, I guarantee Danny Ainge didn't watch Kyrie do that and then decide to quit his job.
No, 100%. 100%.
You know what I mean?
That was a tipping point.
Right.
That's all it was.
Yeah.
Well, so you think it was a tipping point, because I think it was
an opportunity.
But I think it was set in place.
He thinks it's like previous.
Like I'm saying I think that was a done. I think I'm saying I think that was a done deal prior to that, and then Danny Ainge saw an opportunity to be like, yo, I'm gonna try to light a fire under these young dudes' asses going into the next year.
But real quick, like, just to like clarify everything, I don't know if he was actually talking about Kyrie stepping on the logo and dragging his foot, or when he like disrespected Boston when he left. And I think he was talking more so about.
I think he was more talking about when he stepped on the logo.
Was it the logo?
I'm pretty sure it was the logo, and the fact that he came into your court, stepped on your logo, and no one gave it, because it's like, if it was my field, and like say we're playing football, it's my field, or forget it. I don't mean talk about sports. It's my business. This is my organization. You're gonna come to my house, disrespect, basically. Not necessarily our mascot, but something that we hold dear, that we kind of wrap our whole office around, and you come in disrespectfully, I'm going to get pissed. And if I'm in that situation, because I was really talking to my buddy who played basketball at Northeastern, and we were just talking about this, and if I'm over here thinking about this, my first thoughts personally be like, I've probably failed in two things. One, I didn't create, nor did I maintain the culture that I thought I was building up to the point where they didn't care. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's just me from within, because I'm supposed to be the head of operations. You know what I'm saying? Right. I'm here in the front office trying to make sure that we are creating a culture of badass mother truckers. You know what I'm saying?
For
like trying to do this thing, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that they could come in, and granted, I'm an old school sellers guy where we used to, bust some heads, and nobody cared. Clearly, what I thought I was doing, I wasn't. Clearly, how I thought I was leading, I wasn't. Clearly, how what I thought I was instilling within this program for future generations, which had worked in the past, because clearly they had that with KG and those boys, because KG would have bit his dude's head off.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And right now we've gone through a transition phase, and it is not the same. It's not working. Maybe it's time for me to leave.
But I'm saying if you I agree with most of that. My one thing would be though, like if you thought it was solely like a you thing, right? Like,
right.
I guess my thing is like he's having Brad Stevens replace him, right? If it was just,
you know what's going on. It's a little Geppetto like puppet thing, bro.
That's right. That's
like,
you think he's leaving, but he's still kind of behind the scenes type thing.
It's not even the kind of think that. It's like 100% thing, bro.
Because bro, like what's gonna happen if like realistically, like if he's coming out, like he's coming out and he's like, oh, this is all my fault. But then he has Brad Stevens replace him. Like, no, if it was all his fault, he'd be like, no, Brad, you keep coaching. I'll find someone else to come do my job. But no, he's taking the head coach and moving him into the front office.
Getting a yes man, because Brad Stevens is a yes man. Like, real talk, he is. He just sits there, just chills, just lets everything be how it is. Danny's really not like that. He's going to talk his stuff, say his piece. You know what I'm saying? So to appeal to other players that might possibly come here, other draft picks to want to stay, you know what I'm saying? He has to get up out of there because we haven't seen anything since, 2008? Like anything legit.
Yeah.
All those Nets picks, the Nets picks, they flipped that shit for themselves. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we really didn't do anything with that shit. We got a couple of good players.
We got Kyrie.
And then what did he do? He went
and then he left.
You feel what I'm saying?
Paul Pierce came out with this statement, and they traded the first round pick or whatever, and we got Kyrie. Wasn't we get the Kyrie for the first round pick? Yeah. Whatever. And Paul Pierce was like, "You're welcome. I'm in the Hall of Fame." And then Kyrie goes to the Nets.
So it all came back to the Nets eventually. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So they really finessed everyone. So
who's the smartest? Who's smartest organization? The Golden State Warriors or the Nets? Who knows?
They've been playing a long con if that's the case. But like for real though, like Brad is going to be in the same position just so he can have his ear open, maybe even both of them, to hear whatever Danny has to say to him. Because at least I've been saying from the jump, bro hasn't been pulling the trigger when he should be pulling the trigger. He's been acting like we've been the New England Patriots. You know what I'm saying? When we actually been the Buffalo Bills. You know, with that shit. Like getting close, but not getting to the promised land. So now he's trying to save his ass, but also trying to save the Celtics at the same time. And that's all it really boils down to, which is bullshit, which is straight up bullshit. I feel you, Justin, but it's just like, it's kind of crazy. Like he's doing this right in front of our eyes.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? Because I knew you on the same type of time I was.
Yeah.
I already knew what was going on.
Yeah.
I felt like everybody knew what was going on. I'm sorry, Gordy.
No. No, you're good. Sorry. I was just kind of locked in. I'm listening to you, but I'm 100% with you, and clearly there's a lot of things in the back door that we always talk about. Like even when you think there's nothing going on back there, there's something going on back there, and just like honestly, that point you made I think Justin was the one that made it. It'd been like, if it was a cultural thing or whatever, and he thinks he needs to change it up, then he would find someone outside the culture to come and change it. But he's brought it up internally,
right? Exactly.
So it's got to be something else, and we can come up with a million conspiracy theories.
Oh, for sure.
The fans can come up with a bunch of conspiracy theories for us and get back to us. Feel free to drop in the comments below. But it's just like, who knows? Who knows? Yeah. We'll figure it out, obviously. When the time comes in, I'm very curious on who the next head coach is going to be. I hope he's black, but who knows? Anything's possible. So.
But they were talking about...
Suns coach, right? No, Atlanta.
Who?
Atlanta's coach.
Who's Atlanta's coach?
Fuck, I forgot dude's name, but he's a front runner for the position.
I saw a bunch of people. I saw like Van Gundy on there. I saw a couple guys.
You think Kendrick Perkins would have a coach? Because I would love Kendrick.
I would
Perkins
hate that coach. More than the anything in the world.
Let him be an assistant at first. Let him be an assistant at first.
We would be the baddest group of dudes.
We would be the dumbest. Bro. We would be the dumbest group of people ever.
I'll tell you what. No, I'll tell you what.
I hate listening to Kendrick Perkins on TV more than I hate anyone. You ever heard that man speak? I literally feel like I'm losing IQ points per minute that I watch him speak.
Kendrick Perkins our coach. I guarantee you, if we lose, it's not going to be because we were out toughed or out hustled. I guarantee that.
That's our problem.
What would you rather?
I'd rather KG. I'd rather KG become as a coach because I know he'll definitely make it tough. KG is way. First off, KG is way more articulate, first and foremost, and I think he's a smarter basketball player. I think Kendrick followed as big man. Kendrick followed KG's lead. It wasn't KG following Kendrick's lead first and foremost.
KG was his own man. Yeah, everybody. You know what I'm saying?
It's like Kendrick was like, "Yo, how as KG being the other big man, how can I support KG type thing?" It wasn't the other way around. Yeah. So if there's gonna be a big man from the best Celtics team since we were younger, I'm going KG head coach.
I would take it.
Hey KG, bro.
I'm all over that.
You know what I'm saying? Like we had Brad Stevens, one extreme.
That's the complete other extreme.
You about to reform them boys. Let's go.
Like, what happened? Oh, this is nothing like we've known before.
Like, playing some good cop, bad cop.
Yeah.
Yo, watch Jason Tatum be like, oh, you can't yell at me like that.
Get on the bench. Like, all right, yes, sir.
No, maybe that is what these Celtics need though. A little bit of toughness, a little bit of leadership.
Not saying that y'all boys ain't tough now. I don't want you guys listening to this and tell us, we're suckers for saying you're not tough. I'm just talking about that's different. It's just different. You know what I'm saying? Different level of toughness. I don't want Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown come over here, two dudes I actually, want to meet in my life to come over here and be like, yo, those suckers that over here telling us.
Nah, this is called motivation, bro. That's it. We just want to see the hometown win. That's it. That's all we want to see.
I know y'all can do it, but like pass the ball a little bit more, right? I don't need like what I just said. Unselfish teams win. I'm looking at you, Jason.
Unselfish.
I'm looking at you, Jason.
But speaking of unselfish teams winning, the Bruins pulling it off in OT.
Woo!
What
a beautiful game.
Gotta love it. Honestly, look, I gotta say, in full transparency, when it comes to hockey and like the Bruins and the NHL in general, like regular season hockey, like I can kind of take it or leave it. Like every now and then, like if there's a game on, like I might tune in for a little bit. But playoff hockey, like. That is
ramps up.
That is some fucking shit. Like playoff hockey,
electric on a different level. Electric.
That is where like axe goes to grindstone and boys become men in playoff hockey. Like that
literally,
is like so like honestly, and it's just funny with the Bruins because like I feel like they're another team. We were talking about like the Clippers and like some of these another team that's been very talented. They've had the pieces and they've knocked at the door continuously year after year, and they haven't been able to put it all together.
We won a few years back.
We got to the cup. We got to the cup a few years back.
We didn't win.
We got to the cup a few years back, and then we got like spanked. I think it was either game 6 or 7, something like that.
Like 15.
It was 20. Oh no, we were in the cup in like 2018, 2019 in the finals. We were in the finals
so like
recently, yeah, like 2-3 years ago. But we got our asses handed to us.
But this is looking like a new group because, like I said, I just got.
But honestly, it's
hockey,
it's like the same core. It's the same core dudes that have been here like for the last like decade. But we just added some different complementary pieces around them, and it finally seems like this year we might have the right combination to get us over the hump. I don't want to jinx it because you guys are still only in the second round, so I'm not going to jinx it.
But we don't need y'all.
Everybody that I keep talking to says that this year for some reason it feels a little different than the Bruins playoffs runs, of the past few years. So
what you got for us? You got anything popping up? I'm trying to see if they like when they win.
Well, I'm looking up. Hold on one second. I'm like the Bruins.
I know for a fact because it was
who they play.
I think it was the Blackhawks because I was the Blackhawks because I remember
haven't won since 2011.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying, bro.
I thought that because I remember I was
They've
working
been consistently back there.
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
They consistently make a run in the playoffs. They've been back there twice. They played they went back there. I think like a year or two after they won the cup, and then they went back there in 2019. And then in between there, they've made playoff runs almost like every year.
Yeah.
But they've just never got it done.
I swear, I mean, I knew I was working in the financial district for a little bit, and people would be walking up and down the streets wearing the Bruins jerseys. And I remember one day I was like, screw it, I'm wearing the full suit, and I just walk over to what is it, Bell in Hand to watch some of the game. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I'm just like, all right, let's go. And then I see him win. I'm like, oh, let's go crazy. But like, that's crazy. I really thought they had won one. But honestly, but with this playoffs, especially what they did in the first round, it was crazy. And then this whole series right now, granted, it's only been 3 games, but for the last 2 games to be going to overtime, the previous game from last night, it was just insane. It was going crazy, and we ended up losing at home to the Islanders. But last night, man, I'm watching every second of this. I was watching Dame and them ball out. I was watching Dame and them ball out at first, and they were winning. So I'm like, it's fine. Let me sit tight and watch the Bruins. And so, I mean, and then they ended up losing, which pissed me off. But so I ended up watching the Bruins, and I'm watching the Bruins lead majority of the game, right? They're winning 1-0. The next, it's like 5 minutes or so in the third period where the Islanders ended up scoring. And then it was complete momentum change. Complete. Because at that point, for the rest of the game, the rest of the third period, they were literally controlling the offense. They were all, like Rask was literally either catching everything or deflecting everything. It was insane. Defense was kind of like all over the place. And so I'm just watching this whole transpire. And next thing you know, they had a power play. And I'm like, oh no, they're already controlling the puck. We're going to be on the power play. Something's going to happen. I'm going to lose my mind. Power play ends 3, 2, 1, overtime. The thing is, we come back from overtime, and we go and overtime starts, and it's the same thing. They have control. They're taking crazy shots. And I'm like, oh man, we have to change something. And then we go up the ice. Marchand takes some wild shot. I really don't think he meant to score. I think he just tossed it in there to try to poke some holes, poke the bear, just to get some shots on net to see what would happen. Just because we've been so overwhelmed from a defensive standpoint for so long. And what happened? It slid in, and I don't think he believed it because he's rolling around. He's like, we did it! We did it! We're here, baby! Like, it was nuts.
I gotta watch this next game because Dame's out, forget it. But, the hometown's in it, man.
Hometown's in it.
You gotta watch Bees. You gotta watch Bees.
No, I really do, but she's...
And Lily, shout out to all my Long Island boys. Keg, I'm looking at you. Every time we win, I'm literally going to call you and just talk some smack, bro. You know me. I texted you right after the game last night. Oh, man, no way. No way. We won? Oh, no way. Yeah, bro, every time. Sorry, I had to put my... I talk too much junk not to talk to my boys. I'm looking at you, baby. All right.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I definitely gotta watch this because
but Justin, like you were saying, bro, playoff hockey. Granted, I do. Wow. I feel like if there's one game that I like going to and actually watching hockey, and then next I would say football from regular season. But you got to think about it. You're drinking so much at the beginning of the game. How much of the football are you actually watching when you're at the game? Think about it. How much football are you actually watching? When I'm at home, I'll break it down. But
I will say this: you definitely don't pick up on every play like you would like when you're watching the game.
When you're watching it from ET, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you're watching ET, come on. So like regular season hockey, it's good, but it's like one of those games where like I can still drink beer, but I'm actually watching everything. I'm looking for every slam. I'm looking for every fight, and it's so much fun.
So tell me something about this, all right? And I've seen like hockey during the regular season, and they get a little free range to fight. Do they let them do that in the playoffs? Or, like,
bro, they do. There have been some fights. But
I'm saying like, do they let it go like the same duration, or do they cut it back a little bit or something? Like they just.
I feel like there's no difference, bro.
They don't really do anything. If anything, like sometimes like the players might like be less hesitant to fight because they don't want to get like a penalty and put their team in jeopardy. Yeah. But like, so if anything, sometimes like the players got a little bit more control. But like, if shit does go down, like it goes down. Like that's just how it is.
Goes down the deal.
Yes.
Honestly, I definitely got to see this next one. You do gotta love that hockey. Bro, they literally just like. It's one thing it's one thing when you have sports that are based on fighting, but to have a sport that's got nothing to do with fighting and to have it be part of the game that you're just like, all right, look, if you guys can just fight right here, right now in front of everybody,
standing on ice with a blade on your shoes,
it's trying to sight, Roy.
literally, holding jerseys,
and then they're like, all right, you can come back in a few minutes. Like,
just go in this box for a minute, bro. Just be down the player, cool out. You good? You sure? All right,
literally.
Don't do it again, though. Because I'll put you right back in this box.
I'll put you back in the box, but maybe for only a couple minutes, you come back again. Put you in timeout, mister.
You see a dude even fucking push somebody in like an NBA game. All of a sudden, the coaches are grabbing everybody, shoving people into the locker room.
Yeah, they're throwing out suspensions like it's candy, bro.
What happened? In hockey, all the teammates are around like, yeah, get him, and they just stop and they just drop gloves and they just fight. Like I love it. I love it.
Freaking Jay Crowder was salsa dancing in the middle of the court. Did you see that? And he got ejected because he was dancing. That was so wild. He was literally like this.
Just mambo.
And like Tillman tossed him out. He was like this. And Jay Crowder just ran off the court. He's like, I'm done.
That's it.
Bro,
like, that's what I'm saying. That's why I was like, I want to watch this hockey game because I watched Dame last night. They got out of there. I got to go see the Bees.
I'm
tired.
Support, I'm tired. I got to watch some more Bees. I got to watch some more Bees.
Shout out to the Bruins. We gotta catch Game 4. I think Game 4. They're back in. Are they in New York right now?
Yeah, they were in New York last night.
So they got one more in New York.
Yeah. Well, yeah. They're in New York.
Yeah. It's 2-2, right? It's 2. No. As in like it was Bees, like going to like in Boston, New York.
I think it's like
and then it splits.
Yeah, and then it's like everyone.
Yeah. So I think that's what it is. So yeah, I think next game.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, boo, Long Island, boo.
Tomorrow?
Boo, all New York teams.
Yeah, that's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow. It's tomorrow. It's every other day.
7:15. Yeah.
What's going on in the world of football? I know we got a guest we want to get to. I know we got some
special
stuff.
Guest.
Yeah,
I know we got some stuff we want to talk about.
Danny Dimes wishes he was him.
What's going on in the trenches? What's going on in the world of football? Anything you guys want to talk about?
Well, all I know is
I'm about to say I know there's another
I've been really talkative today. Normally I don't talk. I'm a really silent type of guy. But all I'm saying is I'm going to, and I have been nonstop watching the Julio campaign. I love it. I want to know where Julio's going.
Put us on, man. Talk to us about it. Yeah.
And there are a few teams that he's seriously looking at. And what I know as of right now, they're legitimately having conversations with the Patriots. I think at the end of the day, he'd be open to the Patriots, but it's going to come down to money. Granted, the Patriots have spent over $180 million in money over the last offseason. And to be able to
first time in our lives we've seen that.
First time.
Yeah, no bull. I think it's first time.
And so like being able to spend all that money and then trying to pill on this, it might be a little problematic. We might have to give a little to get a little if it were to be possible. But I think that would be the best. We would be the best fit from this organization for able to have Julio in there, be able to lead the offense from a receiver standpoint and go there. But granted, there are other options that are on there. I forget there were other
Seattle.
teams. Yeah, that was Seattle. They were talking about money.
I'm not even, honestly, look, everybody's on him. Like, it's funny because like at this point, I feel like the list of like teams that are confirmed not in on Julio is like longer than the list of teams that, shorter than the list of teams. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like everybody in the NFL is being taught. Like every day, there's a new team that's like, oh, Julio might land here. Oh, it makes sense for him to come here. I mean, honestly,
to you, what makes the most sense? Just
all right. So first off, before I answer that, I just want to say first off, when you're a player like Julio,
the world is yours.
It makes sense to go anywhere. It makes sense for any organization to want you. But I think what I gotta say with Julio is, look, you played down in Atlanta all those years, right? You saw what it was like to be part of a high flying offense. Put up big numbers, be flashy, and at the end of the year, at the end of the day, you got no championships, right?
None.
So you know what? Maybe we don't have a gunslinger like Matt Ryan. Maybe you're not gonna be the star, sole focal point of the offense, like you'd be in Atlanta. But if you want to come to a place where we talk about culture, where the culture's right, winning is the number one
goal.
Historical winners.
Same culture staff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A culture of winning, a culture of professionalism, a culture of, doing things the right way.
A defense.
Like, realistically, and like, I know I said we don't have a Matt Ryan situation, but we have Cam Newton, former NFL MVP,
right,
and we have Mac Jones, first round, highly touted draft pick. So like, he's coming into a good situation. He'd come into a great situation.
100%.
I mean, look, is it the same type of situation where it's like, look, like, back when we had Brady, obviously it was different because we could could say, yo, you come here, and it just seemed like at like over the last decade, like if you come here, you're guaranteed to at least play in the AFC Championship, at least like you'll at least play there.
The very minimum.
So if not a Super Bowl, so now the certainty isn't there, right? Because it's not a guarantee that we make it that far. But I still think when you look at the culture, the organization, the coaches, the talent, this is still his best chance to come in and win. And especially when, he's getting older. He had a little bit of health problems last year. He doesn't have it in him, I think, to be 27-year-old Julio Jones.
No.
So come here where you don't have to be.
And before I even get into my point, I want to hear yours. What do you think the best fit is? Say,
bro. What I was telling you, I think he would perform the best with the New England Patriots. Granted, just like you were saying, we have a lot of different assets on it. We have a defense that'll be able to hold up, so you're not playing offense the entire game. You know what I'm saying? Right. So there's going to be less chances of you, possibly getting hurt or whatever, especially with the system that we're really running.
Right.
Granted, yes, Cam Newton didn't have the best season last year. Some COVID hit him, whatever. But this is the first year where he's had a full off season. Like we've said many times, he's had a lot of preparation.
Right. And
we also have Mac Jones, who is a system quarterback, and so it's not like he doesn't have an arm. He's a young gun. Alabama's famous with, and that Saban and freaking Bill Belichick have Sunday dinners like every other week. So it's just one of those things where you're coming into a good situation that is going to continue to get better over the next couple of years because they are figuring out who they are without Tom Brady. And I feel like this is going to be the breakout year with Julio Jones could make the biggest difference.
See, I'm going to go with something I didn't even really think I was going to say. I really, truly believe that Seattle would be the best fit for him.
Interesting.
You want to know why? How many times have we heard, Russell Wilson is going to be the MVP. Exact. You see what I'm talking about? He's already making the face for me. And I have this man in fantasy. And I've been a Russell Wilson fan for the longest time. But I digress on that part. My thing is, you have DK, Mr. Strawberry Milkman, on one side. You got Tyler Lockett, motherfucker who can make amazing catches with no space. And I'm talking none. Yep. Tightrope in the sidelines, like none. If you give Russell another receiver that can take the load off those two, because they were fucking going back and forth and they were falling off towards the end, and that's why he wasn't having the season that he was supposed to be having. If you can do that for those two, you put Julio in the mix, it's going to look real scary in Seattle. It's going to look real scary in Seattle.
I agree. Especially they just got Gerald Everett to be their tight end.
Do you feel what I'm saying? You're just alleviating everybody right there.
That's right.
And I'm thinking of what you were just saying too at the front. You said he came from a system in Atlanta where he's putting up all those numbers. He used to do flashy, deep balls. Russell Wilson's known for that. If he can't find you on the deep ball, he's going to scramble out and make you look like a superstar some other way. And I think he's really going to like the situation of having that as a possibility, more so of the culture, which I think it makes obviously more sense to go with the culture. You're going to have that instilled to you. You're going to have someone that you know who's been your coach in not even high school, in college. You know what I'm saying? So, you can always trust in this dude if you don't even trust in Cam. But I think for the situation right now that Julio was looking for would be Seattle. Just unbiased, straight up, what he wants and what he wants to maintain because of what he's done before. You know what I mean? That's just me, though.
Yeah, so I hear you, brother.
Yeah, that's just me.
I hear what you're saying. I'm listening to you. I'm contemplating. I'm putting a box and putting a ribbon on top.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm putting it on the Christmas tree for Christmas, all right?
I hope.
So I get that.
Mm-hmm.
If he did go to Seattle, that would be the scariest offense I'd ever seen in my entire career.
That would be scary.
Imagine if they had all the right pieces from offense. I'm not saying they don't. I'm just saying imagine if they had all the right pieces from offensive line. That would be the scariest offense I'd ever seen in my life.
Terrifying.
But the only thing is, having two monsters like that, it really comes down to what role does Julio want to have on the team?
You know it. What did Justin say at the front?
He wants to win.
He wants to win. He knows he's getting older too.
I get that, but everyone says they want to win until it comes down to they're not getting as many catches.
As long as you're winning.
That's the whole thing.
You know what I'm saying? Until it comes out, I'm not getting as many catches. Because I'm not getting any catches, it's going to be harder for me to eat my incentives. I'm doing this, anything. And it's at the end of the day, it comes to money. And you know what I'm saying? I get it. He has a lot of guarantees, a lot of things he needs to do. But it's going to come down to what his role is going to be on the team. He could be a leader, but you gotta think about it, right? DK has come in and has already performed and showed off that he is also a leader.
Right.
you can't have two receivers being the leader of the leader. You know what I'm saying?
But no,
it's just like
it
doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that.
I completely disagree. Because look, the way
it doesn't work like that.
I think
you can have guys that could be like, you know what I'm saying? Like say what I went down was like, I was always a motivational leader when it was offensive line. Credit, they might be a captain, right? They might be a captain, but there are leaders on certain positions, and there's never been, okay, now it's like, depending on personalities, I don't know who they are personally. I know who they are on camera. I know the interviews, but if we're in a room with them and stuff like that, and DK's over here breaking it down, and then over here Julio's trying to break it down, but DK's like, yo, this is mine, versus Julio coming in the room being like, bro, like, that's my role. I'm here, but like, this is mine. I'm breaking it down. That just literally the small things like that causes chaos, and it causes a disconnect, which can be at the end of the day a huge issue later down the line.
And I see actually where you're coming with that, but like these are two dudes on two different sides of the spectrum.
But
you know what I mean? Because like DK is like one of the younger dudes coming up,
exactly.
So he's trying to get the team like that. Julio's gonna be a guy that's coming in like, yo, I'm fucking Julio.
Bro,
y'all know my resume, all this
like,
stuff. So like you're gonna have like a split thing going on.
That's what I'm saying. It splits because yes, he's a younger guy coming in who has proven himself. Did you see when he did first off, you see him in the track when he did that track race with those like no, but that was like the craziest thing, and he didn't even come in. Bro. He came in last, but whatever. He kept up. Yeah. But sorry,
against world champions, world class runners.
But I digress.
Over 200 pounds too.
Someone that has proven himself to be a leader of the team. He has cemented himself and be like, yo, this is my from a receiver core. Two guys like Julio. I'm fucking Julio. I'm here. Right. Yo, follow me. And now, like you said, there's not saying that it would happen, just saying there's a potential of having a divide where the people want to go into the Julio lineage and his DK lineage, and depending on actual personality, not that media nonsense, them smiling and waving, kissing babies, on how they actually want to play and divide, anything's possible. I'm just saying from a locker room guy, I see all kinds of... there are people...
I get it.
Because like, people want to see a lot of things on camera. Like me, when I used to do interviews, I see a lot of things. You smile, wave, you kiss the baby, you do what you got to do because you're trying to look good for the program. But when it comes down to it, bro, I just lost a game. I'm pissed. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at this. I'm looking at that. Like, how can we get better? Right. But there are little pieces here and there that are just going to, like, where you might, because you'll see them on TV. We don't really know who them personally. It looks like it would be a perfect world. Does not necessarily mean it would be like that in person.
Bro, I'm going to use but let me use this same team and one of these same players to counter that.
Tell me about it.
Tyler Lockett was on the verge of becoming a young stud. He was
I also had him on my fantasy team, and they were doing numbers.
Bro, when DK Metcalf came in, everybody said, damn, is that going to be it for Lockett? Are they going to work well together? Are they going to will they even like each other? They were both wide receiver ones this past year.
Both young. Sorry,
both top 10 wide receivers.
Easy, big fella.
Like, hold on, both top 10, right? I know they're different types of wide receivers, but we already saw that come in and see Russell Wilson able, just with his talent in volume and just workload, able to support multiple number one receivers. So that's first off. My second thing would be when it comes to Julio, right? Look at DK right now. DK, like, Julio's a freak, but DK is even a bigger freak than Julio, okay? And DK is younger than Julio. They're going to create a situation where... That's tough. Mentally, that
literally mentally could easily fuck with Julio. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no. He's saying, no. I know what you're saying. I know what he's saying, but I'm saying more of what he's saying. Like, it's going to instill into him that...
DK is my shit, boy.
He's going to be like, yo, I'm listening to Julio. Julio's telling me, putting me on game. So I'm really going to have the knowledge that I have, and I'm really going to listen to him.
Look, when you got DK, look, here was, if anything, let me throw it at you this way.
Yeah.
Last year, one of the reasons why Tyler Lockett was able to still be so successful is because defenses, when they saw what DK Metcalf was doing, they had to say, okay, we're going to commit to single covering Lockett, and we're going to come over the top. We're going to help on DK, right? If that happens this year, well, then what happens? You have DK in the same exact situation where he's still getting double covered, and now that leaves Julio to run around 1v1 on one-on-one coverage. that dude, they're gonna find it.
But it's exactly what I was saying, because what you were saying too, you're like, we don't know if he has the right offensive line around him. And what has Russell been doing all these other years? You know what I'm saying? Scrambling out when he has to.
Bro, he's the king of scrambling.
And what's Julio do? He's always working, looking for work. That shit is going to get real scary. And I think if he actually sat down, not even just with himself, like with his agent, with his homeboys, like, yo, look at these two options. Let's just say it just straight up comes down to the Patriots and it goes down to the Seahawks.
See, I'm with you guys.
I think he's going to go with the Seahawks because he knows the possibilities.
On the field, I agree. On the field, it would literally be the most perfect situation, the toughest offense you could probably ever see. My thing is locker room. That's all I'm saying.
But have we ever heard of Julio being like that guy in the locker room, just like
no,
because
he's been that guy for Atlanta.
Well, we've known plenty of professionals who've just been off the rail, you know what I'm saying?
But I'm saying Julio,
never once
heard a peep about Julio being a troublemaker, being
because
a
he's
bad
always
attitude.
Been that guy in Atlanta.
But even when he goes,
there's plenty of dudes who have been that guy and still can't stay out of their own way in terms of like the shit they say and the shit they do. Like
we talking about you, Odell, like back in the day, like straight up. I'm gonna keep it a buck. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep it a G
100.
because he has grown exponentially.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think the best situation was for him to move out of New York, move out the bright lights, the cities, all that shit, and go to Cleveland.
Yeah.
Go to the real hard workers. Be around people who could be really good, like they are doing right now, to boost him to that point. And it sucks that he got that shit blown out with his ACL. But I think it's going to make him mentally tougher. Like how I think DK would be more open to hearing, Julio be like, yo, I'm trying to put you on.
I think he'd love that because I think DK would be like, damn, if we got someone like Julio in here, they might not be able to double cover me every play.
And now I might have my shit to get my incentives back up. Damn, man. We might go to the Super Bowl.
I'm not disregarding what you're saying. I'm just saying.
He's big mad.
I'm just saying it could work.
Big mad.
It could work. Yeah, you know whose take I want to hear? I want to hear a quarterback's take.
Let's hear quarterbacks.
Let's get your boy.
Wait. Can we find a quarterback? Who do we got?
Oh man.
Oh,
y'all don't know about this kid?
Oh, we got this dude named Jacob Tucker.
It's my homie. It's my homie right now.
Absolute stud. Played football over in Europe for a few years.
Let's get him on the line.
We're getting him on the line right now.
Cool. And then we'll have him join. We'll get him up on the screen so you guys can see.
Yeah, I'm gonna let him know right now.
But while we're getting a hold of Jacob,
do you guys want to cut or whatever? Or didn't
no, we'll get it. We'll keep it rolling. We just keep it rolling in the trenches.
Rolling in the trenches. The trenches are always rolling, baby.
Always rolling.
We never stop.
Won't stop. I'm curious.
Stop.
One of the first things I want to ask him is, as a quarterback, let's do it. As a quarterback, how do you handle having big personalities, big egos?
Ooh, I can't wait for him to answer this shit.
Yeah, that's what I want to say.
I am a big the thing is, I was a big as offensive lineman. I was a big personality, big ego.
I can't wait.
It was hard for me.
Kid.
All right, is he called in? Let's call him in.
Yeah.
Look at this guy with the beard. He's ready to go. You see this guy?
It's my guy right here, man.
Wait, we'll be able to hear us?
Yeah, we'll be able to hear us.
Yes, sir. Jake,
what's up, man?
What's good with you, man?
What's up, brother?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Oh, we good. You live in the trenches right now, man. But I'm gonna kick it off to my boy Justin. He's gonna introduce you to everybody, and we're just gonna keep going, bro.
What's going on, man? Yeah, we appreciate you being here. This is the Trenches presented by Hedge Better. This is obviously Steve. I'm Justin, and then we got our boy Gordon here.
What up?
What's going on, man? How you doing? I'm glad to have you.
Yeah, man, I'm glad to be on here, man. Steve's one of my boys. He's a good one, man. So he asked me to be on it, man. I was so hyped, man.
Wait, Jacob, hold on. Where are you from, man? I hear the accent. I hear that accent. You Alabama boy? Or where are you from, man?
No, I'm from small town Tennessee, man.
Tennessee.
Tell them about Perry County, man.
Yeah.
Come on. Hold on. This is a PC legend, man. I ain't even gonna let him just get off with that, bro. Like this guy, man. He took me home for the first time, like first few weeks of camp. I was like, man, I'm not even going home from Boston and all that. He said, man, don't even worry about that.
Come on,
He said, you come back home with me. He said, we're fixing to go back home. I said, bro, I don't know what fixing means.
He said fixing. I'll give you all the fixins.
I said,
Big on the Bojangles. I'm giving you all the fixins.
He took me back to his crib, bro. We went to go see like one of the games. It was raining. Every single person stopped by to see this man and talk to him and his family. And from that moment on, I was like, oh, he gets nothing but love. I got to be around this guy forever.
That dude that gets respect.
All right, tell us, Jacob. Tell us.
Yeah, so a little story about Steve on that trip. Two things, first of all, like we went to the high school game that night, and like I said, I'm from a small town, man, and there ain't people like Steve walking around my town, man. He's just, he's huge. Like that.
Good man, I've been to Tennessee. I know.
Like Steve, he slimmed up now. But back then, he was
you were big boned.
So he was walking. I remember he had a hoodie on, man. And people were like, we were sitting in the stands, and people were like touching his shoulders. They were like, "Oh, I thought you had shoulder pads on."
Real talk. I was like, "What's going
Dude,
on?"
I swear. And
That's
then,
hysterical.
And then that was the first time he ever had chocolate gravy and biscuits.
Bro, you never had gravy and biscuits?
Chocolate.
Wait,
chocolate. You said chocolate.
I said the same thing. Tell him about that.
That sounds like some Memphis type shit right there.
Is it actually chocolate in the gravy?
Yeah, no. So it's full-fledged chocolate gravy, give you a heart attack kind of thing. Man.
It is deadly. It's so good.
That's like
bro.
Dessert and dinner combined. Like
Y'all do all kinds of things in Tennessee, huh? You in the Smoky Mountains or something?
Yeah. And you get it at 9:00 in the morning too, man. It's a great way to start the day.
Love it.
Man,
Jacob, before we get into football, one Tennessee question: do you know where Manchester, Tennessee is? You anywhere near there?
No, I'm a couple hours from it, but I'm familiar where it's at. I got some family that kind of live over that way, so.
What you know about Manchester, bro?
Manchester. What
you know about Manchester? What's up?
I went to Bonnaroo a couple times down in Manchester.
Bonnaroo.
Okay.
I gotta say, you really feel the Southern hospitality and love when you're down there. That place is one of the funnest places on earth. But I was just curious if you knew about it. Yeah.
Right, well, now I want
down there. Yeah. Maybe we'll take
I think we gotta go to Bonnaroo.
Maybe company trip at some point. If we ever get paid
to Bonnaroo.
Company trip to Bonnaroo.
Yeah, dude, we had a lot of sports. We had a lot of sports conversations down in Bonnaroo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right, well, actually, Jake. Speaking of sports conversations, honestly, we've been talking a little bit. We've been covering everything here. We started off with some basketball. We got into some hockey. We're talking about some football now. We got a bunch of questions for you, honestly. Like, you know what? Let's just start off right off the bat. Like, when it comes to, you were a quarterback, obviously, and one of the things we were just talking about, Russell Wilson, right, and how he's able to manage, stars and all this depth he has at receiver. He's got DK Metcalf. He's got Tyler Lockett. And we were talking about the potential of if they were to add someone like Julio Jones, how that works in terms of maintaining the love and being able to keep everyone mentally checked in and focused, keeping the locker room happy, being able to spread the ball around enough to people so that everybody's happy, get enough touches. Like, as a quarterback, what's that like when you got, too many weapons and all, you almost have too much talent and not enough plays to fucking spread everything out.
I can't wait for this answer. I've been waiting for this.
No, it's man, it's tough. And that's the thing. Being a quarterback, it ain't for the lighthearted. You got to have some thick skin and you got to have some conversations that not a lot of people want to have. I think Big Steve can contest to it. Like our last year. We had some dudes at receiver that were phenomenal receivers, man. It's tough, trying to spread the ball around and make sure everybody gets that love and keeps them locked in. But the thing about it, like you gotta go to these receivers, and I'm sure Russ does a great job of it, man. But you got to go to these receivers and make sure they know, like, hey, there's a purpose. Like, okay, hey, wide receiver one, he had 120 yards this game, and you had 18. Hey, that's fine. Like, next game, you got this matchup, and we're targeting you. So you just got to go and have those conversations with them, man. You can't just expect them to accept the situation. You can't expect them to not get down on themselves because everybody, when you ain't involved really, like it's tough, man. You get down pretty quick. So you just got to go have those conversations. You got to be up front with them and say, hey, man, you're part of the team. You're part of this wide receiver crew that's dirty. All right, so you might not have had the game this game, but next game's yours. If it's not the next game, it's the next game, and you gotta get them locked into the bigger picture, and that's what it's all about. You get everybody locked into the bigger picture, you got a smooth sail. And our last year, mine and Steve's last year at North Alabama, man, that's what it was. Everybody was locked into the bigger picture, and look where it got us. You know.
And here's my thing. I always wanted to know this because I'm on the line. I'm just trying to make sure you doing what you got to do, protect it, upright, all that. Do you have that conversation with your wide receivers like during the season, or do you do that before the season happens? Because that's the main thing that us and like the viewers, the listeners want to know. Yeah, because that's a very big part, because it all goes into betting as well. It's like, are the quarterbacks having that conversation with them prior to the season? Is it halfway through? Maybe 2 games in? Like, walk us through that from your standpoint.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can tell a lot during fall camp, how people are feeling, what their attitudes are like and stuff like that. So you definitely can and should have that conversation as early as you can, because you wait and let it get to mid-season. Maybe this guy's had a bad attitude from day 1, week 1, whatever, and you just ain't seen it. So now it's been festering for 5 or 6 weeks. And so that conversation you're going to have with him is going to be a lot tougher to get through, if he's been sitting on it and contemplating on it for weeks and weeks. So you want to have it up front and early. And 2 games in, if you see it kicking back up, you just got to revert back to that initial conversation. Go, hey, man, look, it's a process. It's a big picture, all right, and you're part of it, and we're going to ride. So, I mean, you got to have that conversation early. Now you might have follow-up conversations as the season goes, because a receiver could go on a slump. He can go 3 or 4 games where he's catching 1 or 2 balls a game and not getting the love that he wants. And you got to go revisit that conversation. But you got to keep him locked in. Got to keep him focused on the bigger picture. That's the key, man. Let them know you love them too. That's the thing. Like so many people get down like, oh man, quarterback, man, he don't like me. That's why he's not throwing me the ball and stuff like that.
No, for
sure. You got to let them know you love them, and that goes across the board.
Big time. I can definitely see that from, especially with the younger guys trying to figure out, where they kind of fit in the program, especially guys that are big guys that have, performed well in the field. But, next, they have a season where, they're not getting the balls thrown their way that much. There's not a lot of things coming their way. And it's like, that's what we've been having this big kind of debate on, because, Julio Jones has had a lot of conversations with a lot of teams, whether it be the New England Patriots, whether it be Seattle and things of that nature. And one of my rebuttals, specifically my rebuttal, literally only me is the one saying this. The only one saying this is just like, bro, DK is a young man. He has come in, performed really well, and he has proven himself to be a receiving leader for the team. I run the receiving core. I get it. There's a lot of old heads that run the rest of the program, but these are my guys. We got an old head like Julio coming in. I'm fucking Julio Jones. You know what I'm saying? Who knows if that's his personality in real life? You know what I'm saying? As he comes in and it's like, okay, is DK going to be like, all right, big bro, this is your squad? Or next thing you know, he's, it's a young guy. Like, even when I was a young guy, I was the offensive lineman when I was young and I was starting and I built the offensive line I ended up being the oldest guy starting after I started getting older. And then some of the young guys are coming here trying to tell me like how they're going to do. Like, nah, man. This is how we've been doing it. This is how we got tougher. This is how we got better. And we're going to keep doing it. And so he's like, now you got an old head coming in here trying to be like, okay, this is my, not necessarily this is my receiving core now, but like, I'm going to bring my experience, my things over here. And depending on personality, who knows? Because on TV, hi, I'm shaking hand, kissing babies. Yeah. Like, they've been there before. They know not to disrespect or ruin the team's persona on live TV. So they're going to act a certain way. But behind closed doors, we don't know how they really are. It could easily been at certain situations where, like you're saying, like they might not say nothing, right? They might keep it to themselves because they're trying to think about, all right, how's the best way to help the team? But in the back of their minds, what's really bugging them is like, yo, why isn't this dude freaking throwing me the ball? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to get at. Because who knows how that happens? Granted. Right. If it was a perfect world, Julio Jones on the Seattle would be the most perfect offense of all time with DK and those boys. But when it comes to straight personalities, anything's up in the air because human nature, right? That's why the stock market is going up and down all the damn time because human nature is unpredictable and anything is possible. So
Yeah,
my 2 cents.
Yeah, no, and I hate that you're leaving out my Titans, man, in this.
Hey, bro, ain't nobody care about no damn Titans, bro. Ain't nobody care about no damn Titans.
Yeah, we did when they bounced us out.
But no, man, yeah, I mean that's tough, and especially at that level, these guys are trying to make their money. It's not necessarily the same as playing at a collegiate level, because dudes got to make the checks, and if DK, if Julio were to go to Seattle, and DK's catches he cuts down 20 catches a year, that might reflect on his check, man.
The incentives, you know what I'm saying? The incentives.
What's going on, bro?
People don't like people messing with their money,
Never.
So
Never.
So I mean, it's difficult at that level, man, and I don't know DK's personality enough to know what he would be like. And I hate to bring it back to the Titans, but AJ Brown was big dog for the Titans receiving corps last year. He was number 1, and he's out here making TikToks saying, "Man, Julio, come on, man, we need you," and all this stuff.
That's true. That is very true. That is very true.
And so, hey, Tug, I got a question real quick. So you see what's going on in Jacksonville, right? Like Urban's down there. We got Trevor. They got Trav. Now they're getting Tebow. To you, does it feel like a college atmosphere is getting instilled into the NFL right now? Because we've been talking about this for a few weeks, and mainly I've been saying that specifically with Jacksonville, but I'm also seeing it across the board with like teams like Cincinnati, the Bengals as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you feel about that?
No, I definitely agree that's starting to implement itself into it. You used to, of course, the 95% of offenses are built around the quarterback, and used to college quarterbacks that ran that speed option type offense, the run and gun stuff. They didn't cut it in the NFL because that's not how the offenses were built around. But now you got guys like Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield.
Right.
These guys coming in and can run that offense in the NFL against the elites. I mean, it's turning some heads, and I think offensive coordinators in the NFL are saying, like, look, these cats put up a lot of points in college running the same stuff. So why do we not incorporate more of it into what we're working with? So I fully agree with you, man. I think college football is starting to rub off on NFL, because these cats do some big things in college, and if they ain't broke, why fix it?
My last question, real quick. Hold on, before Gardner goes, he's been revving the fuck up to my
y'all
right
really make me try to be the villain right now. Why am I the villain of this group?
Real quick, Jake. Do you think that's a good or a bad thing for the league?
Man.
There we go.
Personally, I love it. Because it gives more guys at that college level opportunity. And I'm speaking this.
This is a trench, bro. Yeah, this trench. This is all you.
And so you get more guys like what Lamar Jackson did in college, like 10, 20 years ago. That didn't translate to the NFL. That cat's getting moved to receiver, he's getting moved to running back, whatever, or he's not making a team. But you get a guy like Lamar Jackson that's got phenomenal ability, man, unbelievable, and you want to bring him to the NFL. But if you can't work with what he's got, then like I said, he's going to another position, and you don't see that show that he puts on every Sunday, man. So I think it's a good thing. I think it's really bringing out the best abilities across the board in the NFL. And it's not, guys aren't getting left to the side just because they ran a certain type of offense in college, and they're able to still get up there and show their full ability, and it's fun to watch, man. Offense puts fans in the stands, so you get up there and you score a lot of points, and you're gonna have a good franchise. So
not bad for a running back, huh?
See, so I get what you're trying to say from an athlete standpoint, bringing athletes translating from what they did in college and actually being able to perform at the same level or even higher in the NFL, opposed to how they used to be and not be able to translate and have to fit a whole new scheme. But think about it. When was the last? I'm pretty sure you could probably quickly think about it. The last college coach that came in, they tried to treat the NFL like a college team, not necessarily each other. Who was that? You could probably think of that pretty easily.
Help him out.
The Philadelphia Eagles, freaking Kelly.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What happened? They had a
Ducks,
phenomenal Oregon Ducks team. They just won. That was Mariota, wasn't it?
Right. Yep.
Marcus Mariota.
Yeah.
And what happened? He tried to bring the Ducks offense, who was phenomenal for several years, to the Philadelphia Eagles. And it did not translate because they try to play that run and gun. They try to play that fast-paced offense that just did not fit within a football. Granted, it's been years since then, right? There's been a lot of change and athletes have changed as well. But from a college coach coming in, trying to bring his college schemes, I have not seen it translate well. I don't believe it's going to translate well. But, who knows? Anything's possible because, you got to fit around Trevor Lawrence and what they're going to do. Granted, they pulled some assets for them on the team as well. But I'm just like, yeah, I can get it from an athlete standpoint, coming in, trying to build around them. But when it comes to a college coach trying to bring college schemes to the NFL, I have not, it's different, and I've not seen it be that successful. I could be wrong. We could have people in the comments coming and slandering me after this, but who knows? Anything is possible. But what are your thoughts on that from a coaching standpoint, not just a player standpoint?
Yeah, no, and the Eagles and Kelly, that's a great point. And try to remind me, who was the quarterback for Kelly during those years?
They had a few because at the very end, it was like the end of McNabb before they got rid of him to the Washington. They had Michael Vick.
I think
Nick Foles.
No.
They had Nick Foles.
Chip Kelly never got to coach McNabb. It was he
got rid of him before he played for that. Right. All right, then he had
a little Michael Vick. He had a little Chip Kelly. He had a little bit of
Nick Foles and Michael Vick. It was Nick Foles and Michael Vick.
There was what's his name? Mark Sanchez. He had a little Mark Sanchez too.
Was he?
I think I think that might have been the year him because people got hurt because Vic got hurt from running so much and he was too old. Nick Foles sucked.
Yeah,
this is when Nick Foles sucked.
A little Mark Sanchez.
He was QB3. He was QB3 because Nick Foles kind of sucked and they got rid of him. They came back and then he won a Super Bowl. So that's what happened. But Nick Foles, he sucked at that time, and then I think he got hurt, and then I think Mark Sanchez played 1 or 2 games and absolutely was terrible. By far the worst version of. No, the Jets version was way more with the butt fumble, but still. But still.
Well. What I would say to that is I don't think. It's exciting to see the college schemes come up, and especially when they follow guys, big name guys that make it work. Right. I don't think it's something that should completely take over the NFL because you're playing with a lot higher level athletes, and so that kind of pro style offense is built around a team that has that complete set across the board. But as far as bringing the schemes in, I think you got to bring them in with the right guy under center. And you look at a guy like a Baker or a Lamar Jackson or whoever, and those guys, their abilities are good enough that they can translate that to the NFL. I don't think you can make that translation across the board with the Nick Foles and guys like that.
Nah, they're not built for that.
So, definitely not.
So no, I definitely don't see it being a thing that completely overtakes the NFL. But I do fully feel like they're going to be teams that are going to be able to adapt that. They get the right pieces in the right places and they can make some runs. But no, it's scary, and I don't think that's going to be a widespread thing by any means, but like I said, and like Steve echoed, man, there's going to be some teams that can do it because they got the right guys, and it's going to be scary for defenses, but fun to watch for us,
Oh yeah,
for sure. Yo, Jacob, real quick, we're gonna, I got a question, then we'll kick it back over to Steve to kind of wind it down. But so on the trenches, we talk a lot about how athletes are human beings, right? At the end of the day. And there's a lot that goes on, that people that affects gameplay. People don't see in the stat sheets or in the highlight reel or in their research. Because again, we're people. It you don't always think what's going on with somebody that could affect their performance. But I guess my big question for you, and there's really no right or wrong answer. I guess it's more of an opinion. But when it comes to you, because a lot of problems we have, like not we, but a lot of problems athletes face being able to make the transition from like one level to the next, especially like collegiate to pro. We always talk about is, do they have it like mentally, right? Like, do they have it up here? Because like a lot of dudes are like physically like equivalent, but do they have that extra like mental game that can get them over the hump, make them a successful pro? When it comes to like that whole mental game, that whole mental aspect, what's more important as a player to be able to do? Block out the off the field distractions, or be able to deal with the on the field situations that come up? What's more important in terms of an athlete's success? Like being able and I'll give you an example. Like, is it a situation like an Aaron Hernandez where it's like on the field you're a stud, but off the field you can't get out of your own way because you're getting into trouble, you're hanging out with the wrong crowd, you're doing the wrong things? Or is it a situation with like an Antonio Brown or someone where like, I mean, you could point to off the field index with him, but like an athlete who's like on the field, their problem lies with like the coaches and the coaching staff, and he had he's a cancerous personality in person to have. So what do you think is more important in that kind of regard?
I think personally, I think if you've got your stuff right off the field, like you can block out the negative, you handle your business, you don't have all those distractions off the field. The on the field stuff will take care of itself, because at that point, and anybody that has played football understands it, man. You walk onto that field, like that's like your safe haven for that 2 hours, 3 hours, however long the game takes, and so, with an example like an Odell, like, maybe the coaching scheme, the coach's schemes, aren't fitting what he does. Maybe he doesn't have a quarterback that can do what he wants him to do. Maybe it's this, that, whatever. He'll have another opportunity, hopefully, more than likely, he'll get another opportunity to go be a part of another team or a new coaching staff or something like that, to where his abilities mesh well, and he can get back to doing what he was doing years ago. But man, I think, if you're able to block out that negativity off the field, because especially like going from college to the pros, there's a lot of, of course, some of these big schools, they already have the fan hate and stuff like that. I'm glad you kind of brought this question up, because, man, that drives me crazy. Like, people tweeting at kickers after they miss a field goal, or tweeting at whoever because they missed a tech. That stuff, it blows me up, man, because they really don't understand. Those fans really don't understand what's going on, what they're going through. So the more you can block that out, and the more you can stay focused on the positive and what you got going on in front of you, because it's man, that just it kills me to think about like the negativity that they get off the field. And you had being in the pros, you got money coming in that you never had. You got to deal with that too.
Friends.
So if you can get all you can get all that stuff in place, you can get all that stuff in place off the field.
Yeah.
Then I think the on the field stuff will take care of itself. If you're struggling, like I said, with Odell, or maybe it's injuries or whatever, like that stuff will bounce back, on the field stuff, because it's, those guys are there because they're natural athletes, they're phenomenal athletes, and they're gonna be athletes. That athleticism is not gonna go away. So it may take a year or two of a down year or whatnot, but it's gonna bounce back. They're gonna find that spot, and they're gonna be successful again, or to an extent.
I dig it. Hey, Tuck, real quick, I want you to tell these people about your time in Germany. How was that time in Germany?
3 minutes
quarterback. I mean, real quick, like rapid fire, because I'm about to have you back on the show again.
Tell us about it. Who are you playing for?
Wiener Schnitzel.
Post, damn, tell them about it, man.
Oktoberfest was nice.
It was.
He sent me, bro. No cap. He sent me some of them pictures. I was like, all right, I might have to go out.
Is that what the girdle looks like?
So it was great, man. I had an absolute blast over there. Made a lot of good friends, not only in Germany but in other countries in Europe as well. One of the things that really hit me when I got over there, though, I got there on a Thursday. So their quarterback that was starting got hurt 6 games in, so they called me over there to finish out the season, whatnot. So I'm flying out on Wednesday. I got there on Thursday and played a game on Saturday. So it was like, I mean, it was quick turnaround, whatnot. But after that first practice, I don't know anybody out there, man. You know, like I don't understand any. You know, it's crazy. But we're after practice and we're meeting. Like coach is giving his spiel or whatnot. And he goes, "All right, guys, bring it up, break it down. There's some beer in the locker room for you guys." And I'm thinking like,
this is a trap. Yeah, this is a fucking trap.
You're not gonna get me. Not today. Not today.
So I mean, that kind of threw me off right from the start, man. But it was a blast, man. And you know, I know I didn't make, you know, millions over there like they do in the NFL, but just the idea of like I literally get paid to play football was one of the coolest things ever, man. And they got a lot of good food over there, a lot of awesome places. I was 20 minutes from Berlin, south of Berlin, and
you stopped that man. I think you lost him, man. I don't know what's going on.
Like, I'm going through a tunnel. I'm losing you.
I told you, man. It's a church. You talk about it, any and all things, bro.
We getting in this piece.
Hey, Tuck. You know I love you, my boy. Yeah, thank you for being on the show. Give mama my love. You already know what's going on, but you know I'm gonna holler at you later, and I appreciate you going back on the show.
Love that line too, bro.
Of course.
Joe, hey, it was great. It was great to meet you, brother. We hope to have you on the show again soon. Like we'd love to have you on. If you're ever in the Boston area, hit us up and
we'll party, kid.
That's right.
That's great. I already told Steve I'm coming to visit this summer, so I'll link up.
Oh, that's dangerous. You just told me the most dangerous words.
That sounds perfect. We'll show you a good time in Boston. We'll do maybe we'll do an in-person show.
Let's do it.
There we go. There we go.
For sure.
I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it.
Sure. Yo,
hey, I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys big time, man. And Steve.
Yes, sir.
It's all love, man. No doubt.
All love. You already know.
For sure, man. We appreciate you. We'll be in touch.
All right, bro.
Be easy.
One.
See you guys.
See you, man.
Love you.
Yo, everybody out there, we're about to sign off too. That does it for the trenches. We appreciate you guys. Tune in next week. We'll have more guests, more athletes telling their stories. We'll be talking about whatever. And we appreciate you. Check out Hedge Better. Check us out. We'll be on social.
Check us out our new social media. We also got a new Instagram coming out.
That's right.
At the trenches. Hold on, I'm gonna pull it up for you people just because we
plug
want
it
to
in?
make sure.
You
Just make sure that people are starting to get hip, right? We don't want
at the trenches _HB
_.
at
HB.
the trenches
Yes, sir.
_HB. Holla at us. We're gonna start putting our content out there to make sure that we're showing you guys the best of what we do.
Yes, sir.
Because you know we got you in your ears. Now we gotta catch you with the eyes, baby. We out here.
Hey, go to the Hedge Better YouTube channel. The Trenches Boys, they'll be up there soon. We'll have all our shows up there. We got other shows up there. Check out our other shows. We got some other short videos. We got some good content. We're going to do some big things. We got our website, Hedge Better website, coming out soon. We'll keep you guys in the loop. We can't wait to see what happens. Appreciate you guys. We'll catch you next week.
Be easy.
Be safe.